Hi, my name is Andy. Thank you for joining me again on my tiny house channel. In today's episode, we're going to address some ways to reduce your budget, and I'm going to go through some secrets of how I do that, how I started doing that years ago, and some strategies. Perhaps we shouldn't call them secrets, but perhaps they are to you. If you're new to this channel, my channel is all about tiny house living, minimalism, and trying to get people out of the crazy cycles of modern life and to live simply and enjoy all the things that you would like to enjoy rather than spend most of your time trying to make money, trying to scratch your life, trying to pay for bills that aren't making you very happy. This is all about happiness and finding that. My minimalist lifestyle helps me achieve that, and this is what I advocate for. If you're interested in tiny house living, minimalism, financial freedom, please, please, please subscribe to my channel to get more information, get behind views into my life in miniature, and to get the algorithm to suggest my videos more, please hit the like button. That helps bring traffic more. I think that's how it's supposed to work. If you haven't seen the tour of my 96 square foot house, please check it out to see what brings me happiness. It should be posted right about here. So onward and upward to the budget. For myself, if I'm not traveling or doing anything much like I am right now, I can usually keep all of my expenses to around $1,200 tops, and that is living in the United States. I'm living in Minnesota. This is for everything: taxes, the roof over my head, insurance, my vehicle. A lot of minimalists would go without a vehicle. My little tiny flip phone, utilities, and food. Now, if I do go to watch my favorite baseball team in the summer, which I do quite often, well, then it gets a little out of the $1,200 a month budget. Perhaps the idea of $1,200 a month sounds totally unachievable for you, and for a lot of people, it probably is, especially if you have a family and you live in California or New York or other expensive states. So, the whole goal, I hope, is to reduce that monthly budget. Perhaps you are at $5,000 a month and you want to get down to $4,500 or $4,000 a month. Set small goals and you can hopefully achieve this. Everyone has a certain comfort level and also a different level of income. There are families out there that make $500,000 a year and are struggling to make ends meet. And yet there are families out there that are making $50,000 a year and they are doing just fine. I'm sure that you have heard this before, but the very basics are that all you need to do is make more than you spend. That is not a big secret. Perhaps you don't even know how to do it, but hopefully this video will help you get started. The very most important tool to being able to do this is sheer willpower. So tell yourself every morning that you have the power to say no to blowing money that you don't need to. For me, I do ask for strength from a higher power. Some ask the universe during meditation, and some just manifest it through their own soul and repeat it back to themselves to have the strength and determination to say no to indulgences, to say no to impulses for now. Put those on hold. Tell yourself to ugh, tell yourself to keep your eyes on the prize, and that means to picture yourself in the future living outside of the rat race and being financially free. So with that, let's get started with that budget of yours. Okay, what you want to do is you want to take all of your expenses and place them on one side of the sheet as I did in this example. I'm just putting up an example sheet from an average household. I made these numbers up. Feel free to borrow this sheet if you'd like. You can choose to do this electronically or the old-fashioned way with a notebook and pen like I generally do. On the other side of the sheet, write down all of your sources of income. In this case, I've got the job, I've got the tutoring, and then I've got some interest. I'm going to go through how to reduce your expenses. So reducing the right side, and then a little bit later in this video, I'm going to go through some secrets on how to increase your income on the left side so you can get some of these expenses on the right side taken care of. In future episodes, I will be going over in detail what I have done to increase my income, both passively and not. There are some of you out right there right now that are saying, wait, I don't even know my expenses, and some that might not even know all of your income, but that one is especially easier for people. If you're a person that doesn't even know all of your expenses, the first thing you want to do is to track financially is to know where your money is going. To do this, take a month and write down every single thing that you purchase, every single bill you pay, and keep an organized list. In today's world of computerized cell phones being totally ubiquitous, this is very easy. Just make a habit of it. You can also take your last few months of your statements, checking, credit card, Apple Pay, PayPal, whatever it may be, and write down all of those expenses. I just want to touch on a fallacy that a majority of people in this country believe, and I've heard it over and over and over, and that is they say a car loan and a home loan are things that you will always have. I'm living proof that this is false. You have to believe that this is false. It may seem difficult, but you have to believe that this is false in order to succeed with this plan. I will make an episode in the future on how to go about that and will include charts and amortizations that can help. But for now, we'll work on the easier bills. The first one I want to attack is those technology bills. Perhaps you don't believe it and it's difficult to conceive, but all of that technology you have, you probably do not need most of it, unless it's your source of income. According to a company called Morningstar, the average American spends around $273 per month on their technology bills. This can include internet, mobile phone plans, cable, streaming services, and on top of that, they're littered with advertisements that you barely realize are convincing you to spend more and more money that you can do with just that click of the button. Not only that, most people are spending all of this money on services that, for the most part, are making them lonely. I'm not going to harp on the negative psychological aspects of technology in this video, but technology is driving people into depression, and the more depressed they are, the less motivated they are to get out of it, and the more time they spend just scrolling through social media and depressing themselves even more. And one more thing. The more time you spend playing games, watching videos, texting, and joining useless chat groups, and checking out everyone else's social medias to see how great their lives are, is time wasted that you could actually be spending with a real person, making that real human connection, or doing a side hustle, making an extra $15, $20 in that hour to get these bills paid off and to start living the best life that you can. So, with that, see what you can get rid of. My total tech bills are about $30 a month. That is for my little tiny flip phone and an internet package that I share with a couple other people. If you're really interested in minimal living, finding the joys of not watching all of that technology all the time and enjoying a book from the library, writing or exercising out of the gym, but in the great outdoors, I would love to give you a great challenge. And that is take a day and go without screens completely. 24 hours, see if you can do it. At first, it will feel stressful. It is breaking an addiction. It's like quitting smoking if you're a smoker. But after a while, you will feel what that freedom is and what that freedom brings, and that suddenly you will have more time to enjoy all the things that you love, and you will really cherish what time means. Next, you want to take one of your paid subscriptions, and I want you to just cancel it. This is a challenge. You can always get it back, but cancel it and try to go without it. Perhaps it's Netflix, perhaps it's Hulu, two things I've never used before, or a gaming subscription, which I don't even know what any of those are. And I'm not sure how much these cost, but just get rid of it. Just try to get rid of it and take that money that you save and put it in paying off a bill, and that reward will help you. Then every time you think that you're missing a show or missing playing a game, find a friend or a family member to do something with, make some human connection. And if you can't find someone, once again, go back to the side hustle and use the internet what it was made to do and make some extra money on it. I will be going over a good list of side hustles shortly here that I've personally used, and then I'll also make a future video going into real good detail on some of those. Some do not pay much, but at least it can help you a little bit with those big bills like your car, your credit card bills, or even your mortgage. Try to make a goal of where you want to be that tech bill to be. My tech, like I said, is $30 a month. If you can get to that level, I would be pretty impressed. Let's see what you can live without. I like to use the 90-10 rule of mine, and that means that 90% of your waking time should be spent doing one of your 10 most favorite things. So make a list of your 10 most favorite things. And if you find that you're not doing one of those 10 favorite things, then stop. I would highly guess that looking at social media to see what your friend that you haven't seen in 10 years had for dinner last night is not one of the top 10 things you like to do. It's just an addiction. So stop doing it and move on. The next challenge I want to give you is to try to reduce your general monthly spending. And I understand that it is real difficult to go from driving 100 miles an hour to driving 10. So let's just take it down a notch to 90 and then 80. An example that a lot of people have is that at work for lunch and even in the evenings, people will go purchase their lunch. And a lot of times those will cost $15 to $30 at most places for a lunch, and especially depending on where you live. If you're doing this every day, that equates to $75 to $150 per week. That is equivalent to $4,000 to $8,000 per year. 10 years, $40,000 to $80,000 you will save if you can do this. Well, you do have to buy yourself lunch. I guarantee you that if you do it right, you can pack your lunches for under $5 a day. I will also do another future video. I'm doing a lot of future videos, aren't I, here? That I'll go over the food challenge on how to eat well on a budget and do challenges to help you get there. Packing a lunch just once a week will save you about $500 to $1,000 per year. Imagine having that money to either invest or do something that you love. For me, the first thing I come to think of when I think of, oh, an extra $500 to $1,000, that's a nicely weekend getaway. I can fly someplace, stay in an Airbnb, and enjoy my time. That's what I enjoy. That's one of my 10 favorite things. I now want you to think of all of that impulsive buying that you may do, and maybe you don't. But perhaps this is clothes, candy bars on the checkout line, a technology that you think you must have, etc. I want you to think about how many times you have bought something and then used it once or twice, and then it just collects dust. How often do we do those things? In my 20s, I was not a minimalist, and I bought way too much stuff and realized much later how much money I would have saved. And had I invested that instead of buying that stuff, very sadly, when I think of it, if I would have invested that money instead of spending it on things that I really didn't use that much, and I don't even remember what those things are, I probably would have had over $500,000 extra just from that alone, if you include interest and if you count that as an investment. Now, if you are using credit cards for your expenses, look at your reckless spending and see if you can reduce that by 10% this month. That's the challenge. Do that 10% this next month. I guarantee that almost anyone can do this. If you do have a spending problem with credit cards, you should just go to the cash system. All those benefits that the credit card companies offer you means nothing if you're paying all of that massive amounts of interest on them. That's ridiculous. Cash system, take your cash, put it in a safe at home, and at the beginning of the month, place the total amount that you are allowing yourself to spend, and once that's gone, it's it. This is hard discipline, but you have to do it. If it's $900 a month, every 2 days, take out $60, and that's it. Or every 3 days, take out $90, whatever it may be. But limit yourself, be disciplined, and keep telling yourself, keep your eyes on the prize. Let's talk about your basic utilities. If you are paying for trash, see if there is a way to get a smaller trash bin. Now that you're buying less stuff, I hope, by watching these videos, you will have less stuff to throw away. Next up, the electric. Go through your place and see all the places where you're using electricity. Look at your electric bill over the last few months, and I give you a challenge. See if you can drop that average down by 10%. Back to the electric technologies, and I'm harping on that again. If you aren't watching television and looking at all of your screens all of the time, there's a big savings on electricity there. Some of these are pretty energy efficient, but you would be very surprised how much you will save if you just cut your screen time in half. Air conditioning. I've never lived with it, maybe as a child, but actually when I'm in it, it feels very foreign to me. I hate it. Even in pretty hot temperatures, you will get used to living without it. So I give you that challenge. I do understand, possibly if you're in an environment where it's 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius, um, other people do it. People in these climates can do it. Challenge living outside your comfort zone for just a bit, and you actually might find that it's not as bad as you think. Next up, water. Easy. Take shorter showers. Get in, get out. Take cluster showers. You don't need to shower once or twice a day. This is ridiculous. Nobody ever did that, and it's probably not even good for you. Stop it. Brushing your teeth. Use a little cup instead of having a cup of water, instead of having the water on the whole time. Small amount, but something you can do. Here's a big one, and a lot of people don't realize this. Go out and check your toilets and see if any of them have small flapper valve leaks. Got a little flapper valve in the tank of the toilet that can sometimes leak. Replace it. They're about $5 to replace. That can save you $100 a month. This adds up to a lot of wasted water. Now, perhaps you are renting and think that utilities just don't matter. As a former rental property owner, if I had tenants that paid on time, didn't destroy the place, and kept the utilities low, I didn't increase the rent. Not all landlords are going to be this, but it will certainly help. Next, I want you to think about your car. In my opinion, most people are spending way too much on their car. A lot might cite the safety features, etc., but please look at consumer reports to verify this. Spending more money most of the time doesn't increase your safety. If you get a first class ticket on an airplane versus the cheapest ticket on the airplane and that thing goes down, it doesn't matter how much you spent on it. It just gives you a false sense of security about your safety. I personally can't imagine spending more than $5,000 in a car. Even that sounds ridiculous. There are a lot of ways that people justify in spending a lot on a vehicle. What you should be really doing is figuring out how much that vehicle is costing you per month for the payment, or even if you're paying cash. Imagine you spend $30,000 cash for a car and you do use it for 5 years and then trade it in for $15,000 or sell it for $15,000. That is still averaging $250 per month, plus the amount of money that you just lost on all of that interest that you would get on an investment. I will say for me, my last car I bought was for $2,000. I don't even think it was quite that much. I did have to make a few repairs, but I had it for 5 years. And so the total per month cost was less than $100 a month. If you want to be a true minimalist, get rid of your car and take a walk or take a bike. Try to walk to the store. Even if you have a car, try walking to the stores, anything within a mile, unless your health can't permit it, or if it's cold like it is right now, it's negative 12 degrees right now. Doing this will help with your financial health as well as your physical health. Next, I want to move on to the fun part, ways to increase your income. Every dollar you get, take and reduce your debt load or put it into a passive income source. I personally have lived without any sort of job now for about 8 years. I do pick up jobs here and there, and I do have a part-time job playing piano about 15 hours a week right now, which is something I love. I do that for free. Don't, don't tell my employer. I do, however, have a bunch of side things that I do, and there are a ton of things online. I will release future videos on different side hustles that I have worked and ones that haven't at some point. So for passive income, they're always saving and investing. I am not going to claim what the best investments are. That is not my job. But there are plenty of ways to learn about this. But let's just take a CD or a certificate deposit. At the point of making this video, the interest rates on a no minimum CD are around 4.5%. It's not a lot of money, but this is a long-term thing. If you have an extra $100, you'd be getting 37 cents per month. But if you're able to do one CD per month for $100, after a year, now you're making about $5 a month. Still not a lot, but you're getting closer to living the life that you want. These numbers are small, but they do start to add up over time. I call these things my sleeping money, which is the money I would earn if I just slept the month away. Another one is stocks. I am not giving stock advice, and this is not a stock advice, but there are plenty of stocks that pay dividends. For example, McDonald's stock right now is around $300 and it pays $1.77 per quarter. So a $300 investment would bring you about 59 cents per month, and then the possibility that the stock could go up. But then again, it could also lose money. For stock advice, I would check out places like The Motley Fool. I've read that book. It's got a good website. Warren Buffett has some great stock advice. I will put things in the description below. There are tons of ways of making passive or semi-passive money online. You are looking at one of them right now and making YouTube videos. Yes, I have to put the time in up front, but after enough views and getting monetized, these do make money. There are also Amazon stores, which I do have a tiny house one in the description below, and it's just so ironic that I am talking about how to save money, and then I have that for you to go spend money on. So don't do some impulse buys and buy from my store. Check it out. Send it to your friends if you'd like. But this is a good source of passive income. At some point, I'll have a future video on how to make an Amazon store. It really is not that difficult. Another one is ebooks. I've never done an ebook, but there are plenty of sites where you can do an ebook. In fact, I know there are ways that you can do online AI generated ebooks and sell those. Please investigate those. Let me know what those are all about. I would love to love to have another source of income. Another site that I like to use is called Swagbucks. Um, and use it you can use it it's mainly to get rebates and extra cash per month, but add that to your income per month. I honestly probably make about $10 on this per month on that site, and most of it is buying gift cards on things that I would be using anyhow. So they have gift cards on there for Airbnb, for Delta, they have ones for Carnival Cruise, they've got ones for Royal Caribbean. Some of those actually pay some good money. You can get 7 to 10% back on what you'd be spending anyhow. Um, since I started using that site, oh, probably 10 years ago, maybe actually a little bit longer. I don't know how long they've been in existence. I have made over $8,000 on that site. So I like the site. If you are interested, please look at my link below. I do get a tiny portion from what you make if you use my link. Be nicely appreciated. Um, there's also a smartphone app called Upside that I tell my friends to use, and it gives you cash back mainly on gasoline in some restaurants. I don't know if it's can be used outside of the United States, but it's a good one. You can get, I know people that get $50 a month back. This is just a rebate app that you can use on your phone. There are a lot of these rebate sites out there, so take advantage of them and don't leave money on the table. As far as non passive ways, there are tons of ways, and I'm going to zip through some of these just to save us some time. There's always Uber, Uber Eats, DoorDash. You have to have a license for all of those and clean driving record. If you're multilingual, please check out preply.com or other um, uh, tutoring sites for teaching languages. I use it for learning, but it's a great way you can make your own schedule and get some extra money. Another one that I personally have used is called rev.com, rev.com. I'll leave the link down below as well. I've been doing this one. It's closed caption. You do have to qualify for it by knowing English and grammar as well. I started doing this just on the side when I was bored, or a lot after I had my back surgery on cold winter days. I'm just bored sitting alone in my little house here. But since October of 2021 until February of 2025, I've made nearly $5,000 on that site. It's a great way to make some extra money. Especially, you have to learn to pick the right videos. Don't pick the hard videos or you're wasting time. But if you pick the right ones, you can get about $15 an hour, which is a lot better than some of those survey sites, which I've tried a bunch of them. And at best, I think you can get about $4 to $5 an hour, but I'll occasionally do them while waiting at the airport or once again on a cold day. I use the Swag Bucks as a survey site. I mentioned that earlier. I also use a site called Branded Surveys. I will leave a link in that as well. It is an affiliate link, not trying to scam you. It is an affiliate link. You can make a few dollars with that. Another thing that has worked for me is selling things that you don't use on places like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. About 15 years ago, I remember I was cleaning out a closet of mine, and I just went and I listed a bunch of things that I found in the closet, and I made $350. Some of the things will surprise you, especially if you put it on auction. Little handheld device, I put it on there. It was like a little Yahtzee game. I put on for $10. It ended up going for 80. It must have been some sort of collector's item. There are also stores that you can open if you have a certain niche. A niche. I at one time opened what's called a bricklink store, which is for selling Legos. And I started with $1,000 and made probably a good $1,000 a month on it for about 3 years. And then I sold the store for $14,000. It is busy work. You don't make a lot per hour, but you can definitely make some good passive income on that. You can also do writing as a ghostwriter, write blogs, you can do podcasts, you can do affiliate marketing, you can become a tutor as I had mentioned earlier. I'll make a future video that'll go through more ideas and explain some of these more. I will stop there for right now. I've gotten a little long-winded, but this secret isn't so secret. Cut your bills, increase your income, and eventually your budget sheet will look great and you can relax and do the things you love in life and perhaps even live in a tiny house like I do. Remember, keep your eyes on the prize.